love you.
I love you.
It's been a rough couple weeks for us, guys.
Couple?
You think so?
No, one.
1 week. It feels like eternity. Because we usually always get along, but we've been off sync the last couple days, and I don't like it.
Hi lovers, pardon the interruption. If you subscribe to The Examine Life, you've probably already seen that video. If you haven't, go to this time code right now so you can fast forward this part of me talking and interrupting that video so you can watch that video. Maybe come back and watch this part afterwards, but I know you clicked the video because you wanted to watch that. So the reason why I'm reposting that video here is because I think it's a really great conversation. I think oftentimes on social media we do show the positives of relationships or times that we're really getting along. I think that video was really interesting because it was during a time when we just really weren't in sync. So in essence, you guys have probably watched by now my apartment tour. So we've lived in our apartment now for 2.5 months, and we shot that video 2.5 months ago when we had first moved in, and things were like kind of in a tricky space at the time. So this is kind of a throwback to that, and I really want to speak about my other second YouTube channel, because I've never talked about Adpocalypse here on my main channel before. And Adpocalypse, all right, what are you doing in the background there? Adpocalypse is this thing that happened in which a lot of videos that don't have advertiser-friendly content got demonetized. You guys may have noticed that my videos no longer run ads on them, and some videos, only 6% of the views are monetized. And for somebody who doesn't make a lot of views on YouTube, that's a very significant decrease. And so I just wasn't able to manage 2 channels, and it didn't make sense for me time-wise anymore, especially since YouTube was returning so little to me. But at the end of the day, YouTube has never been a place for financial dependency for me. It's always been a place to spread my message, and then to gain an audience and to have a great conversation, and then take that audience and conversation to other platforms which are able to compensate me more fairly, like the Full Screen Show, which I've talked about ad nausea. And now I want to talk about my Anchor.fm podcast. So every single day, it's like Snapchat for podcasting. I, in essence, do a little podcast. I talk about my day, I share some personal revelations, and then most importantly, I answer a question of yours every single day. And so if you guys have not subscribed to anchor.fm/shanbooty, that is a great place to go to support my content. Yes, being here is very important, and I value your time so much, but there are other platforms in which I am able to sustain a lifestyle, and I am able to continue to make YouTube videos. So it greatly helps me, especially in light of Adpocalypse, if you do go over there as well.
I think like when we're in this heightened time of emotions, like we don't have that filter. It's kind of clogged up right now with filtering all of life. And so then when Jared comes into Shannon's world and he says something that doesn't come across right, you don't have that filter that can clean it out, and you can see what I'm trying to say. And I have the same thing where right now it's been hard to filter, you know, what Shannon is saying and filter it through like what you're trying to say.
I was explaining to someone the other day that a massive difference between this relationship and my last one is the trust and intent. I honestly felt like I literally, after my relationship was done, I was like, yo, I've never felt more equipped in my life to answer the what is your weakness question. A lot of the times I felt myself saying out loud, like, I'm not a bad person. Whereas with you, there's just this like beautiful river of trust and understanding.
The filter that I've chosen with you is good. It's like, you're a good person, your intentions are you, and when I look you in the face, I can see that you love me. You know what I mean? As far as like other people in other relationships that I've been in, I could look them in the face and I could see that they don't love me. And I think that's the problem, is like most people, they go through life worrying about what they said. And it's if you know humans, you know that 90% of the time that they say something, they mean something else. And so you might say, you know, why did you put that over there? And in my mind, I'm like, why are you coming at me? You know what I mean? But then I go think about it. Okay, wait, let's think about this logically. No, she just wants to move it. And Jared language would say, hey, why don't you actually put that over here? Instead of saying, why did you put that there? You know what I mean? But, you know, that's where we speak different languages, and usually I can filter that. But with everything going on in life and everything, sometimes that filter gets dirty. And it comes in and I hear, Jared, you're a piece of shit. Why'd you put that there? You're stupid for thinking that. And that's when the argument starts. Instead of being like, no, actually, she just wants to put it in a different place. So let me just put it in a different place. Because in reality, I really don't have an emotional attachment to putting that there. You know what I mean? So that's where I feel like our miscommunication comes into play. If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. We naturally, Jared and I have gone through times like this before. We're like, yo, shit is just off. And the littlest things trigger us. But I feel like embracing those times where things are off and expecting them to be off in a way. Like, oh, this is the new wave. It's kind of off right now. And knowing that, like, we just had a small fight 2 minutes ago, you know, before we started recording this, but that we're going to have to brush that off and, like, put it, you know, chalk it up to, okay, right now it's just not a time of being in sync. And if we do that, then we don't allow the little things that are tripping us up to become a bigger issue in our relationship or to last longer than the current stress is lasting. Because once we're fully settled in the apartment, once we're putting out more content,
and we're in a flow again,
we're in a flow.
Schedule. I know what is called to me. You know what is called to you, and it's like, you know, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's perfect.
But I know what is called of me, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I think, like, I just want to work on in my character is reacting slow, because I find that when I react slow, I can better decipher what's going on. If I react fast, it's usually the wrong reaction.
Something that you said to me this morning that, like, really stuck with me is you said you don't have to put space between you and me for me to feel something from you. Like, I'm paraphrasing there, but in essence it was like, if something is bothering me, I don't have to be visibly or put distance between us so that you can figure it out. It's like I can communicate that to you, or even just communicating that, like, hey, I need space right now, versus just like that silent uneasiness. That's when we fill in the gaps with our own thoughts, and our thoughts usually end up being worst case scenario. And I don't want that. I don't want to create a relationship that's based on insecurity or manipulation of insecurity. You know what I mean? Of making you feel jealous to get a rise of you, or making you feel sad or isolated or vulnerable. Like, that's just not the atmosphere that I think that either one of us will grow in. But it is a habit of mine when I'm upset, because of the fact that I know I have a quick mouth, to, like, close up and say nothing. And to, like, be in my head and think. And I think you interpret that a lot of the times as like I'm putting space, but it's more like I'm protecting you against saying something that I don't quite understand myself yet.
No, I hear you. That just makes me feel not safe and not, like, secure and not, like, feel loved. So what ends up happening is I end up making the situation worse, because I am a man at the end of the day, and what men do when they feel emotion is they close up and they push too.
What are, like, and I'll answer this question too, 2 things that you want me to learn from this time?
That I am still growing and I'm still learning. I'm trying to, you know, learn. I'm trying to learn, like, and get rid of the character flaws that I have from the way I grew up or the way that I learned as a kid. So, you know, as long as, like, I guess for me, as, like, I just want to be able to have this space to make mistakes without it assassinating your view on me.
I want you to know that in difficult times, remember the thing that I was initially attracted to you about was, like, your confidence. Like, the first time that I saw you, it was like, it was at your event. But the way that you were moving, the way that you were, like, addressing people, like, that side of you is important. And even throughout the stress, I need you to remember that if anything, being in your head about it or being timid is going to make things worse. And that's also knowing my personality too. I think also keep in mind that I'm not as nice as you. And that's something that I'm working on. I think I'm getting better through you. and I'm definitely becoming more empathetic, more patient, more open, more loving. But it doesn't come as natural for me to be like that. And so sometimes, especially in stressful situations, I revert back to more being like my dad, which is like making snap decisions and, assessing, making a decision and moving on versus, considering your feelings.
Yeah. And I want you to know too, like, being nice has been learned. And I don't want it to be abused. But it's been learned. It's been something that I worked hard for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I am nice. I am. But I worked really hard for it. So like, I have mean thoughts too. I have a mean side too. But I self-control that. And so, I don't ever look at you as somebody that can't control it. So when you do get mean, it lights me up. It lights me up. But I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's always, I want you to have the space to get nice too, and you are a nice person. You are, but I want you to have the space like that. It's learned. It's not everyone. I don't think anybody in the world is naturally nice.
Mm-hmm. Last closing thought. Do you think the open side of our relationship has made this time worse?
No. I think that it's made this time. I mean, obviously you pulled the card in a really weird time. So
I didn't pick that.
Huh?
I didn't pick that.
You didn't pick it, I know, but I'm saying that it's a time where it's obviously gonna be harder than most because we're not in sync. So it does make me feel uneasy, but it didn't make this time worse.
I think that's really what it's about. At the end of it all, it's like the base of you and me being on the same page and being eye to eye, and then everything else above and below and around doesn't have to matter. The circumstances don't matter. It's like this that matters the most. I'm so grateful for you, and I love you, and I think times like these, like the contrast of things, strengthen that, and getting to see different sides of you and, watching you grow. And at the end of the day, this is really your expertise. That in these times, like your emotional maturity, your understanding, and your objectivity is what makes you incredible at this. And I learned so much from you. And so sometimes going through conflicts, I get to see that part of you in action that I'm so seduced by. And I'm not saying I'm causing problems on purpose to see these things of you. But nonetheless, it's taking the balance of things and knowing that you're going to go through rough times with people. It's going to be rocky. I think at the base of it all, what I would encourage people to say is if you're in relationships that are going through rough times, you have to really assess what's happening underneath. And if what's happening underneath is not good, you're not going to be able to fix what's happening on top. This is all on top stuff. It's all surface layer, circumstantial, evidentially, because we're in the situation, because we're moving, because we just got back, because. But under the surface, there is love, mutuality, respect. There's insight, and I love you.
I love you too. Are you gonna go halfway or not?
No, I wanted to kiss you, but I'm gonna go lipstick.
Chillin' with your friends and your waist tattoo. I just wanna stare, but your face bad too. I don't really care that it's 2:08. You can come and hang, tell your friends come too. Shopping too often, you open floodgates. Like it when you drop it, don't stop it, you getting off late. Hit me on my phone, I'll come pick you up on a Sunday.